Hello, I'm Jeffrey Mishlove. And here's what happened. This is a story, and I really think it is interesting. You see, I walked into this room only about 10 minutes ago or less with the idea of making a very different kind of video. And it was going to be a video focused on the topic of should parapsychology change its name? And really, I'm not dead set against it. Whatever happens will happen, and names do change. But I have an investment in parapsychology. So as I was walking in here to thinking about doing that video, I had a thought, and the thought was, don't do this. And I did a quick little thing that I do sometimes with autonomic muscle movements, where I'll just say, okay, let me check at a deeper level with myself about that. If it's a yes answer, my right forefinger will go up. If it's a no answer, it'll be my left forefinger. And I just wait, and boom, up came no. So I walked out. I just walked right out of the room into the hallway. And then I thought, isn't that interesting? A thought came into my mind, and on the basis of that thought, I took an action. And then I began pondering the nature of thought itself, how thought leads to action, how a thought just appeared in my conscious mind. It bubbled up from somewhere, my subconscious, my superconscious, but then the thought was, go back in. Go back in. You've got a story to tell here. It's not about should parapsychology change its name. It's about watching a thought, watching what a thought can do. So my ability just then to watch that thought come up, change my agenda. And then I walked out of the room, and then another thought. And once again, the agenda changed. And here I am now. But to be honest, I feel like I'm up against a wall, up against a dead end. Like, how much further can I push this topic? Where did that thought come from? Sometimes when I feel stuck like this, the reason is because I'm not asking the right question of myself. Because asking the right question of myself can almost always lead to a breakthrough. That is a fresh insight. Of course, I've been asking questions most of my professional life, but it's the questions I ask myself that are probably the most important. And that could be another InPresence lesson. What are the questions you are asking yourself? Are we asking ourselves the right questions? The questions that are going to make us bigger, make us more wholesome. Wholesome. But, I can push a word, I can push a topic. What does wholesome mean? What does it mean to ask oneself a question? What does it do when you ask a question? How does that affect consciousness, the asking of and the hearing of questions? These are really basic issues that I have hardly given any thought to at all. What is the impact of asking a question, of formulating a question on the consciousness of the questioner? And what is the impact of hearing such a question in the consciousness of the listener, or in this case, maybe the viewer? One of the things that I would like to share is the idea of live streaming. What would that be like? It would mean you would be with me in real time instead of in a simulated time. It would mean that you can ask a question, pose a question. I'm pretty sure there is a feature now on live streaming that allows the viewers to interact by typing in questions that appear. I don't know where they appear. I haven't done it yet, but I'm going to research it because I'm intrigued as to what can be done in terms of live streaming with this group. I'm getting a thought now, a memory. So before I began speaking, as I was sitting in this chair, having a moment of silence before going on air, typically 15 seconds of silence, because that gives me enough time to filter out the background noise, the air conditioning sounds, to give you really good quality audio. I do it every time. Although sometimes static or something comes through, I can't get rid of it all, but that's very rare. Mostly you're getting good fidelity audio. The point being, however, I used that moment, the 15 seconds or so. I said to myself, closing my eyes, okay, time to go into higher consciousness mode. And it was like, open up as high as you can go in the next 15 seconds or so. It was like that. Now, the question is, did that work? I think it may have. What does it say to you? Well, and here's one thing it says is that just by a thought, you can shift your consciousness. Isn't that what this is about, ultimately? Isn't that the notion that brings all of this together? By a single thought, you can shift your consciousness. That is such a profound insight. What could be easier than a single thought? Knowing that you can shift your consciousness with a single thought. What power there is in that idea. That is an idea that deserves to be widely communicated. I would love to have everybody in the world understand that. You can shift your consciousness with a thought. That is very powerful. It is very empowering. I did. I walked into this room with the idea of doing one video. I changed my mind. I walked out. And then I changed my mind again and walked back in full of inspiration. I didn't even know exactly what, but I knew it was going to go somewhere. There's so much power. There is so much to be said. Sometimes I feel like I have nothing to say, but the truth is, I just need to ask myself the right question, because you can shift your consciousness with a single thought. And I'll leave you with that thought. Thank you for being with me, because this is going to be shared.